Charlie, Charlie, please!
You shouldn't say that name.
Do something!
He's gonna find us.
What have we got next? Right. I teased last week that I went to a press screening of The Gallows. My review of it is not up yet, but I might as well talk about it here. I'm currently writing my review. And you've not seen The Gallows, have you?
I have not.
Good.
So you have the floor, sir.
Okay, I'm going to go on a rant. I'm going to go on a rant.
Go for it.
Right. Feel free to chip in at any time with any questions or anything.
I disagree.
Oh, God. But right, I was asked a few weeks ago on my Facebook page, like, if I, like, because I've made it known that I am not a fan of found footage horror films. And I was told, if you ever made a horror, like, how would you fix, like, the found footage genre? What would you do differently? And my answer to that was I wouldn't do a found footage movie because the genre is fundamentally broken.
Yeah, it's flawed.
Exactly. It's because, right, The Gallows, the first shot of the movie is this footage is the property of the so-and-so police department. So it's like, oh, this is footage from the police department. So of course they'll release it in a movie theatre and charge £7 or £8 for it. Fuck, no!
Yeah.
No world would do
I
that.
take it they're trying to sell this as it actually happened.
Exactly, yeah. They're trying to do that when... Exactly. Even though Paranormal Activity was 6 years ago and nobody believes that stuff anymore, so why even bother trying? But the very first scare in The Gallows is there's this douchebag who's recording, and he's been paid, like, by the school of this, who are doing this theatre production. He's been paid by the school to record all the behind the scenes stuff, and there's this shot of him. He's put the camera down in his bedroom, and it's an empty bedroom. It's nothing. This is the very first scare in the movie, like 10 minutes in, and it's like 10 seconds of nothing. Then he jumps up wearing a hoodie, like, boo! That's the first scare in the movie. First things first, if this is the property of the police department, why would they edit that in?
Yeah.
And secondly, when he does boo, there's like 100 other sound effects to make it louder. Why would the police department edit that sound effect in if this is a police investigation? Which is one...
I hate boos. I hate that, just in general.
Well, you'll hate The Gallows, because there's not a single scare in this movie that is not a jump scare. Not a single scare is informed by character or situation. It's all jump scares. Every single one. And that is not an exaggeration. There is one that they sort of... I thought they were going for build-up, but it ends with a jump scare, so I guess it loses that point. And what they do at one point is... they are filming around... Okay, the plot of The Gallows. In 1993, there was a theatre production, and one of the characters died on stage. He was hung. It was meant to be a stage hanging, but he actually died. And they are recreating that play 20 years later because that's apparently a way to honour it. I don't know. Either way, they're recreating it, and one of the lead actor decides to go in and destroy the set because he's not very good at it. So he decides to destroy the set, and the cameraman decides to follow him and film everything. So they have got incriminating evidence that they are destroying the set. And it's it's bullshit. And then what happens is that they're filming everything, and they're running out of battery for the camera, and then the screen flashes low battery. Have you ever seen footage on a camera say low battery?
Yes, I see it every time.
When you're watching the footage back. Not when you're watching it back, it doesn't say low battery, which is another stupid thing that found footage movies do. And it's like, okay, they've got low battery, but they're carrying the camera around because it's got a light on it. That's fair enough. Then turn off the recording so you are saving battery.
Yeah.
And okay, obviously, the fact it's found footage and it has these fundamentally stupid things is just one bad reason why The Gallows sucks. But it's also the fact that all the characters are distinctly unlikable, with the exception of one, who is the innocent person, but even they managed to cock up her character towards the end. The person filming is a phenomenal douche, and I just could not wait for him to die. All of the women in this movie wear push-up bras, because of course they do. And like I said, there's not a single scare in this movie that is not a jump scare, and the ending is clearly just a twist for the sake of a twist, and it doesn't make any sort of sense regarding anything that's happened previously. This movie was... I can't think of a single thing I liked about this movie. At one moment, one character was climbing a ladder, and the spirit of whoever got hung during this theatre production pushes him off the ladder, and he falls on his back. It cuts to him grabbing his leg, and he has broken and twisted his ankle. He fell on his back.
But...
And I know this is like... I went to the press screening of this, and they gave away these production notes, which are like 10 or 15 pages of like these two guys who did a low budget trailer, and it got picked up by Warner Brothers and Blumhouse Productions. I think it was Warner Brothers. Yeah, it was. And how how excited and how glad that they are that like the movie turned out how it did and stuff like that. And it makes me bad, like, just ripping on it, but there was nothing in The Gallows that I liked. It was phenomenally incompetent. It's just another nail in the found footage coffin, and how it just does not work fundamentally as a storytelling practice, because it means that you don't need to give a motivation for why they're holding the camera the whole time. Like, Chronicle would be a better movie if it wasn't found footage, and I love Chronicle.
I'll agree with that, definitely.
Troll Hunter is another found footage movie that I like, but that's more of a faux documentary than a found footage film.
Yeah.
There's
Chronicle finds itself having to excuse the camera stuff a lot.
Right, it works there because the guys in Chronicle, they have psychic powers, so they can move the camera around them and get interesting shots.
But if they're going to do that, then why even...
Yeah, exactly. But for The Gallows, there's no reason for them to be filming this, because the guy filming has been paid by the school to film this theatre production, the behind-the-scenes stuff. So why is he filming them destroying the set? They're going to be incriminated. Why would the police, who have got a hold of this footage, edit the footage in the way that they have? There's no phone signal, because of course there's no phone signal, even though there are characters on the phone in the building earlier on in the movie. It's bullshit. It's edited terribly. Like, they use the found footage gimmick as an excuse not to show anything. The trailers have, like, the ghost is called Charlie, and the trailers have, like, Jason had his machete, Freddy Krueger had his glove hand. Now Charlie has his, like, prepare to meet Charlie. And it's like, where do you get off, movie? Your character is is dressed up like a 18th century executioner, and he holds a noose. That is not an iconic image for a horror movie that you have no idea if it's going to be a franchise. Jason and Freddy are long established iconic characters because they have a long string of sequels, and they are genuinely iconic characters which are defined by iconic actions. Your character just has random bumps in a movie, in a theatre. That is all your character has to offer. Where do you get off comparing Charlie to Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger? It's bullshit. I have nothing positive to say about The Gallows, and it's not the worst movie I've seen this year, because there's nothing morally reprehensible about it. There's nothing where I'm just thinking if somebody sees this, their worldview will be damaged by it, unlike maybe 50 Shades of Grey. But there's nothing positive in The Gallows. I hated this movie. It was just... I think it's the worst horror film I've seen for a long, long time. Last year in my top 10 worst films of 2014, I had the entire horror genre as the third or fourth worst movie of the year, and I thought it couldn't get any worse than that. The Gallows is worse than that. The Gallows is one of the worst horror films I've seen, period. It makes Manos the Hands of Fate look like a Citizen Kane style masterpiece. It is it's not. I didn't like it. That's the Gallows.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
You heard it here first. The Gallows is shit, and I'm currently working on my
Will Carlisle, 2015.
William Trilbee Carlisle, mother... Okay, that's my review. Rant of The Gallows.
Cool, so we're going to go on to some questions now.
Cheer me up, Sam.